I'm Gary. Austin will be here in just a second. We are Midwest Mics. Jim is behind the scenes as always, making us look and sound good. Got some new lighting in the room so you can see my face a little bit brighter today than normal. And we are in the UClick TV studios right here inside the Hy-Vee Arena. And as you can see behind me, the lights are on today. And they've been working on the floors, getting things ready so that we can reopen hopefully very soon, so that anybody who wants to can come in here and check it out and visit one of the restaurants or come in, play some basketball, pickleball upstairs, volleyball, whatever you want to do. Work out, come on in for $6 a day. Anybody can come in the Hy-Vee Arena. So,
anybody, anytime?
Anybody, anytime. Once they reopen, once we're able to get out and the stay-at-home order is lifted, in the arena, just watch the website, HyVeeArena.com, to, look for that date when they will reopen. But the floors behind me have all been redone while they've been closed, so they've been using their time very productively here. The people that work for the arena very tirelessly getting all that done. So at this time, I'm going to bring in our guest today, a recurring guest here on our show from, the beginning. Coach DJ Pittel. He is currently the head football coach at Kansas City Central High School, not too far from us here on Indiana Avenue over there. But he had just finished his first year coaching as the head football coach there. We went through his resume before, so we're not going to go through the whole thing again today. But, he coached football. He was the head football, and then he did wrestling in the winter and was helping out with baseball also in the spring, which that season ended up getting canceled because of this COVID-19 pandemic. But, Coach, welcome to the show.
Guys, how you doing today?
Good, man, good. Always good to see your face here on the show.
Man, it's fantastic you guys having me back. I'm super excited. This is better than watching Chicago PD all day.
Oh, definitely. So let's start. When we talked to you last on the show, you were just kind of getting going at Central, getting in there, hadn't coached any games yet or anything like that. So kind of take us through, that first season and how things went.
When you look at it long term, I had my assistant coach tell me this at the end of the year. Considering that we got our players the very first day of school, and what we were able to do in 3 months was pretty impressive. I mean, we had 15 days to get ready, and that includes passing out equipment. And so that was a difficult situation to be put in. I'm definitely glad for all the head coaches that I've worked with before to help give me, ideas and try to assist me in any way possible. And once we got that going, we won 2 games this year. We were 2-8, so we doubled our win total. We almost doubled our points scored, and we have a lot of guys returning for this fall, and I'm really, really excited about this year's team, seeing the opportunities that we have, the guys that return, the guys that understand now the commitment of what it takes to have an off-season program, to do what it takes to understand the weight room, how we go in the weight room, how we prepare in the weight room, how we prepare during stretching. Having all of that, I was super excited, and I just hope that the Rona, as they say down here in the city, the Rona go away, and that we can, get these kids in and get them in a better spot. Because I have some guys who have an opportunity to play at a small college level. To give them opportunity to get out would be huge. This year we had a young man, Zion Hansen, who I got 1 week after school started. 1 week? Maybe it was a week and a half. And to be able to get him a partial scholarship to Peru State College, shout out to the Bobcats of Peru State. Hey, listen, I'm going to be completely 100 with you, Gary. You know how I am. Mm-hmm. I did not think anything about Peru State until I went up there.
Okay.
And I am a believer in that school. since I went up there. I love how small it is. I love how isolated it is. I love the fact that it's 18-to-1 student to teacher. I mean, that's fantastic. And so they have a really nice facility up there. I was super surprised by and super impressed by Peru State. Super impressed.
Yeah, we had Coach Hoffman from Peru State on the show, and Coach Pinnell. I believe both those guys are staying over with the – I know they just had a coaching change, but a head coaching change because the head coach retired. But they said once they get a kid on campus, they feel like they can get anybody in the country because of that campus and how
it's impressive. It's impressive. And so, this year we're really looking forward to get going. I'm excited about our kids. Our academics are up, which was a super hard point to get across, that I'm not playing about your grades. In fact, we had a young man, Xavier Smith, work himself out of being ineligible to being eligible. And to see him fight through all the extra stuff that these kids have to go through, all this other stuff that shouldn't have to happen to a high school kid, to walk and battle through that, to go to practice. So we can have these kids practice. They're not eligible to play varsity sports, obviously, right, because of the GPA. Mm-hmm. So we talked to Xavier about, I'm going to explain to you what a red shirt is. You may go to college, you may have to red shirt, or you just practice and go to school. That's it. That's what a red shirt does. You're a super scout team guy.
Yep. And
he bought into that. And he would come to practice and, eat us up. literally just make it a pain. And to know that he has bought into the program so much that he's willing to go to school, he's willing to get his grades, he's willing to fight through all the extra stuff he has to go to because he understands this matters. That's fantastic. We have a couple other guys.
And I know, Xavier is a kid like that. That's why you chose Central to be at, so that you can help those type kids that are dealing with way more than football. But to teach them that, hey, through football, you can learn a lot of life lessons and possibly, get out and provide a better life for your future generations.
Yeah, that's what we're all about, trying to shape young men, give them good information, give them an opportunity to see their worth.
What happened? Did we lose you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. There we go.
So it's, we have him. My quarterback, Walter Taylor's coming back. We got a kid, DeMarcus Hawkins, and Deontay Morton. Deontay Morton's one of those silky smooth athletes you see play basketball, play football, and it's just effortless. Mm-hmm. It's irritating, actually. Because you're like, bro, what are you even doing? And he's just so fluid in everything that he does. DeMarcus, we talked into coming over from basketball. There's not a lot of room for 6'2", 240-pound postmen or two guards. But that makes it a great possibility to be an H in a defensive end. And so that, and our quarterback, Walter Taylor, returns. He's been working with Coach Hoover when they were able to do workouts. So we're starting to put some solid bricks in the foundation.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And, you mentioned your quarterback, Taylor, working with Coach Hoover a little bit. That's a guy who's worked with a few high-level quarterbacks. And
friend of the show there, friend of the show.
Yeah, knows how to get those guys going.
Definitely had to do that name drop, right? He is a friend of the show.
Yeah.
And
he got his boy drafted higher than I thought he was going.
Who's that?
Tua, right? He trained with.
Well, he was supposed to help train Tua, and then the whole COVID-19 thing happened.
Oh, so he didn't get to mess with him.
He did a few video things, but they didn't get to do the extensive training. Here's a
Hoover Tua story. I got a Tua story told you by Coach Hoover. They were up at the Elite 11 in Oregon. And so, this is the Elite 11. These are the top 24 quarterbacks in the country.
Yep.
and then for a couple of days, and then you get the rest of the top 300 for the opening. So Tua is in his room, and I believe I want to say it's Fromm, but it's not going to be Fromm. Anyway, another top quarterback says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm going to sit here and read my Bible." So Tua sits there. Everybody's out, on the sticks doing whatever. And that quarterback comes back and is like, "Hey, man, can you show me how to read that?" By the second day of the opening, there's 124 kids in the hall and in the dorm room or the hotel room trying to listen to Tua talk about his faith.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a fantastic story.
I'll say, yeah. The thing about Tua was that everybody always kind of knew he was a super high character guy. His only knockback was his injuries, right? That's it. Other than that, vision's great, family background's great. The faith is faith is amazing. But that stories like that is what rose his draft stock up to get picked higher than anybody else thought he was going.
Yeah.
That's a really cool story.
That is. That's awesome. Also another real quick Tua story that, Coach Hoover mentioned after, he went in the national championship game.
Let's talk about this because you brought it up, Austin. I am amazed by this that the
Hey, DJ, we lost you for a sec. Just repeat maybe what you just said.
Oh, I was going to say, since you brought up Tua and the Dolphins, how would you like to be able to have 12 picks for the rest of the draft and redo your whole roster in 1 year?
You know what? And the cool thing about that is they ended up the year actually, like the second half of their season was actually pretty good. I think they went 4-4 in their last 8, either 3-5 or 4-4 in their last 8 games. And really, the only reason they lost those first few games is because they tried to roll with a young guy with Rosen. And I don't know if it's time to give up on Rosen yet, but Rosen didn't have it, and so they switched over to the vet, old Fitzy, and it took them rest away. Miami is highly talented, and the thing is too, they timed it. They literally timed it perfectly with Brady leaving the division. So they're going to get their QB. They're going to be able to rebuild their team. And New England's not going to be trash, right? Me and Gary talked about this. It's not going to be trash, but they don't have Brady. And Brady's the GOAT. And he leaves, and so Tua gets to walk into that division and really, I say watch out for the Dolphins. They got a real shot. It sounds crazy to say they got a shot to make the playoffs for sure. One of the biggest turnarounds in one season. By stockpiling all those draft picks, if they draft correctly, right?
Yeah, that's always the question. Can you draft correctly? If you had 53 guys and you get to pick 15 of them over, you're doing 1/3 of your roster this weekend.
Yeah, it's amazing. If Miami turns it around, which I actually think they will. I like their coaching staff, all that stuff. If they get to turn, they turn around to be one of the quickest turnarounds in NFL history, and it'll also prove that because they tanked, they traded a lot of guys out for picks and stuff, and it's going to prove that the tanking worked for them. It didn't work. It hasn't worked so great for Cleveland yet. But the thing is, that's another story on draft picks. You got to hit them, right? You got to hit them, and I would take Tua right now over their guy, which is Baker. I'll take Tua all day.
Baker's not great.
That's a nice way of saying it. I think Baker's just Tua has Tua's going to have he has a better, for me, just knowing his character, just like a better foundation to build on. I saw how Baker treated when his coach got fired. And then the Browns went and played the Bengals. He treated Hugh Jackson like garbage, which there's more stories than we know. But to me, it's a little bit of a character flaw. I don't think Tua would do anything like that. I don't think going for the Chiefs. I don't think Patrick would do anything like that. Rub. They talk a little trash, but nothing like, I don't know. Baker's a little bit too much. I don't know, but we'll see how the rebuild goes down in Miami. I mean, I'm rooting